The story begins with these young friends as they arrive at the forest. A loud noise catches Quan's attention. She walks towards the direction of the noise, and as it grows louder, her curiosity drives her to climb to a higher spot. From there, she spots an alien spacecraft engaged in some sort of experiment. Realizing the danger, Quan quickly runs back to warn her friends to escape, but they are too engrossed in playing to listen. The next moment, the children are melted one after another by an unknown attack, leaving Quan hiding behind a rock, where she takes out a signal flare and shoots it into the sky. The distant base sees the signal and immediately sounds the alarm. The flare means an enemy attack is imminent, and the entire base is thrown into a state of panic. All personnel gear up with machine guns, while the surviving Quan makes a daring leap, successfully landing and then sprinting towards the base. She returns to the base at a critical moment, rushing to her father's side, hastily reporting the situation. However, before she can finish, the enemy is already at the gate. Her father instructs her to hide in the shelter immediately. Outside the base, all the soldiers are on high alert, holding their breath at that moment. Just then, the aliens use advanced technology to blast open the gate, and through the smoke, a group of mech warriors emerge. The officer quickly orders to open fire, and the soldiers immediately begin their counterattack, but the bullets seem to have no effect, as if they are merely tickling the aliens. Soon, the aliens start a massacre, slaughtering hundreds of soldiers. The officer's vehicle is directly overturned by an alien creature, and as he is pinned under the car, a cowardly soldier tries to hide in the shelter, only to have his chest pierced by an alien's hand. A boy trembles in fear but ends up revealing his location. The officer sees this from a distance but is powerless to help. Next, the aliens forcefully open the shelter door, causing the children inside to scream in terror, but the aliens show no mercy. Quan seizes an opportunity to escape and quickly hides beside an elderly man, unaware that his daughter has escaped. The officer endures the pain and unleashes his fury at the aliens. One alien turns around, ready to strike back. At that moment, a spaceship slowly appears in the sky, and from it, a warrior jumps down. He is humanity's hope, the one who will stop the alien army. Master Chief. Facing the alien firepower, Master Chief leaps into the air and starts shooting down at the aliens, taking them out one by one. After greeting the officer, snipers and other warriors also arrive on the scene. A four-man team arrives to support them and quickly engages the aliens. The aliens are overwhelmed, but their numbers are still large. However, they are no match for the warriors. The sniper not only has precise shooting skills but is also extremely agile, but an unexpected situation arises. He is out of bullets. Seeing this, Master Chief quickly locks onto his target and leaps to a higher position, drawing all the firepower towards himself. But the enemy's firepower is too strong, and Master Chief has to temporarily take cover. In a critical moment, he glances around and spots a nearby Gatling gun. He throws away his weapon, grabs the Gatling, and begins slaughtering the alien creatures. Master Chief, wielding the modified Gatling, unleashes a barrage of bullets at the aliens, the rain of bullets tearing through the alien ranks. As the bullets run out, the entire base falls silent, with corpses scattered everywhere. The officer looks at the fallen comrades, his heart filled with sorrow. When he finds his daughter Quan hiding under a car, he finally manages a faint smile. But just then, a severely wounded alien spots Quan. To protect his daughter, the officer draws the alien's attention with gunfire. As expected, the alien easily picks him up and uses its energy blade to melt the officer's internal organs. Seeing her father fall in front of her, Quan feels a deep pain in her heart as the alien approaches her. At the critical moment, Master Chief arrives in the nick of time, swiftly killing the alien. Master Chief assesses the casualties and, in a bid to eliminate the invaders, they plan to destroy the alien spacecraft. Staring at her father's body, Quan is dazed, while the warriors have already moved on, with tears streaming down her face. She follows them out. The warriors find the alien spaceship near the forest and also notice a cave below. Two of the warriors enter the cave, where the walls are covered with strange markings, clearly made by an advanced civilization. They also discover a large black metal object. Master Chief slowly approaches it. While not far away, an alien creature watches them. As he reaches out to touch the black metal, energy begins to surge, forming a blue ring of light. As the energy surged, runes resembling those left by an advanced civilization emerged. Even the lurking alien creature was thrilled by this. Master Chief was struck by the powerful energy, accidentally unlocking sealed memories. It turns out his name is John. He also saw his family and pet. His teammates pulled him away, breaking the illusion. At this moment, the black metal lost its luster. Seeing this, the alien hiding in the shadows bolted. The two chased after him, but he activated his cloaking mode and collided directly with Quan outside the cave. By the time they emerged, the alien had already escaped in a spacecraft. Leaving the unconscious Quan lying on the ground, Master Chief transmitted the information to Reach, where Dr. Halsey was reviewing John's combat records. She repeatedly examined the strange metal, realizing it was anything but ordinary. Just then, the General's arrival interrupted Halsey's research. It was clear she already knew that Halsey had deployed troops without authorization, using the soldiers to rescue rebels, and she ordered her to stop her current plan. After the General left, Halsey went to her secret laboratory. Inside a life pod lay a person, the subject of her secret research. Meanwhile, aboard the distant alien mothership, someone was enraged at failing to obtain the mysterious metal. The elder alien informed her that the plan was thwarted by a soldier, which made her even more furious. But the elder suggested that she study human history first, to better deal with humanity. Quan woke on a ship, suddenly confronted by a woman who appeared, ready to negotiate. Her intent was clear. She wanted Quan to act as a spokesperson because other rebel bases had also been attacked by aliens, and she wanted the rebels to align with the command. Quan naturally refused. As her father had formed the rebellion in pursuit of freedom, the information was immediately relayed to the General. Meanwhile, Halsey discovered changes in John's neural network, but fortunately, John's body was fine. Halsey connected with John and advised him to stay as far away from the stone as possible. John also realized something was wrong with his body, and suddenly Quan knocked on the door, asking John for some food. However, while eating, Quan recounted her mother's fate to John. Suddenly, an alarm went off, revealing an order to execute Quan. John went to turn off the ship's surveillance. This act immediately alarmed the General, who, upon reviewing the footage, saw that John was disobeying orders and remotely shut off the ship's oxygen supply. The two passed out from lack of oxygen, but within seconds, John, through sheer willpower, manually restored the oxygen supply. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the General mobilized defenses. A large number of soldiers went on alert, with fighters and electromagnetic cannons at the ready. While the warriors stepped onto the equipment platform, they were tasked with protecting one person, and that person was their Master Chief, John. As the armor was assembled, they each grabbed advanced weapons and headed out of the base. This was a challenging mission assigned by Halsey. Outside the base, a large number of soldiers had already gathered, and the ship had entered the atmosphere. John was trying to disable the autopilot, but Quan didn't trust him at all. She pointed a gun at John, who said he wanted to help her. Facing John, who removed his helmet to show sincerity, her only option was to trust him. If the ship's autopilot reached the command, Quan would be immediately eliminated. The command also detected that John had removed his helmet and was about to land. The two hurried to disable the autopilot system, with the flight squad closing in fast. By this time, the ship had slowly arrived above the base, and soldiers rushed forward with equipment. Just as the ship was about to land, an enraged Quan smashed the system chip, which John then removed, disabling the autopilot. John prepared to pilot the ship away, and the command realized something was wrong. The General quickly issued a command, and the electromagnetic cannon fired, striking their ship directly. The ship was blasted down, and the black metal fell out as soldiers approached, surrounding the ship. Seeing this, Quan was terrified by the situation. They were planning to blow up the ship. Seeing this, 3 warriors walked over and aimed their guns at the soldiers, leaving the soldiers utterly confused. At this moment, John was still inside the ship, staring blankly at the black metal. As he touched the metal again, the mysterious runes reappeared. Meanwhile, Halsey, watching from outside, also saw the scene as John reopened his memories. He discovered that he had once drawn a model of the metal block. Then, a powerful energy wave shot out, causing the entire base to lose power and enter a state of paralysis. While the ship's energy was miraculously replenished, John sat back in the cockpit and started the ship, escaping the base with Quan under everyone's gaze. At this moment, Halsey showed a satisfied smile, as their adventure had only just begun. To save Quan, John sped through the cosmos with her, and Quan expressed deep gratitude to Master Chief for saving her life. But for safety, he advised Quan to sit tight as they were entering an asteroid field. With countless massive meteors floating in midair, John used his superior piloting skills to successfully navigate through before the asteroids collided, arriving at another starfield, a small world connected by vertical chains called the Rubble. He was here to find someone, hoping to uncover more information about the black metal. After successfully landing on the asteroid, they walked into a quiet tunnel and opened the door to a new world. This place was a haven for the condemned, outlaws who didn't fit in. There were no police, no government, no responsibility here. People had freedom of speech, but they were not too welcoming to Master Chief John. They used a forklift to block his path, but he wasn't intimidated. He placed the crate near Quan and pushed the several-ton obstacle aside. People were shocked by his actions, and at that moment, a bald man emerged. This man was Soren, the person John was looking for. He ordered his men to lower their guns. In front of John, they were nothing but rookies. It turned out he was an old teammate from 20 years ago, a comrade in arms during their youth. They had parted ways due to differences in ideology. John took off his helmet again and warmly greeted his old friend. They quickly began chatting as they walked and soon arrived at an underground location. After boarding an underground tram, it began to move at high speed. Soon, the tram brought them to a whole new world. The tram slowed down and then moved along the line, passing through meteor caves and across planet clusters, until they finally reached Soren's planet. Why was she so filled with hatred? It turns out that when she was very young, she and John were childhood friends. They met in a colony, a place of exploitation and slavery, where disobedience was met with beatings. They enjoyed hiding together to read, dreaming of the lives on other planets they read about in books. Just as the Blessed One kissed John, a soldier supervising them caught them, and they both tried to run away. John was eventually knocked to the ground, but in the last moment, he handed the book to the girl. At that moment, a Covenant ship descended from the sky, causing people to flee in fear. The Covenant soldiers were searching for something with their devices. When they reached the Blessed One, they discovered that the device pointed to her, leading them down two entirely different paths. On that day, a UN Space Patrol ship, Short Fleet, on a mission in the Libra 23 star system, detected a fault in space. Then, a Covenant cruiser suddenly appeared beside them, and the fleet immediately went into attack mode. At that moment, the Covenant fleet sent a communication request. It was actually the Blessed One disguised as a human who had escaped from the Covenant, intending to infiltrate human society and reclaim the Keystone. The fleet commander allowed her to board the escape pod, her pitiful appearance winning the captain's trust. Suddenly, with an evil smile, countless strange tentacles entered through the ventilation shafts, quickly annihilating the Allied forces. However, when she checked the database, she found that the information had already been deleted, just as she was communicating with the Covenant ship. Reach Command also detected an anomaly with the ship. Halsey's Cortana had incredibly high intelligence, capable of discussing scientific issues on par with Halsey. Moreover, Cortana had already guessed that Halsey's first experimental subject would be John. As expected, Halsey quickly brought the two into the laboratory. After she completed the neural mechanism extraction from Cortana, Cortana's physical form was declared dead. Halsey then injected Cortana's neural mechanism into John's brain. Halsey called out to Cortana, and a brand new virtual life form appeared before her. Cortana would now coexist with John in this form, possessing highly advanced self-awareness and intelligence. Cortana realized that, after the neural implant, she couldn't fully control John, the subject of this experiment. It turned out that Halsey had limited this ability. She wanted to prevent Cortana from fully merging with John until the research on the Keystone was complete. John was crucial in triggering the Keystone, and before that, Halsey needed to understand how the Keystone affected him. When John woke up, Halsey brought the Keystone to him. As John touched the Keystone again, he entered into memories. Seeing more and more, John wanted to remove his emotional regulator, thinking it might help him unlock more of the Keystone's potential. Halsey did not stop this violation of protocol, and John began trying to integrate into a normal human life without the emotional regulator. He rode the subway to experience ordinary life, feeling love and family bonds. At this moment, he finally felt what it was like to be human. He returned to the lab and touched the Keystone again, entering into memories once more. And indeed, this time, he saw even more. He discovered that there was a second Keystone, which he had once drawn himself, and there was an ice house outside the planet he lived on. Based on this clue, Cortana identified 3 planets that fit the criteria. Through projection, John identified the planet as Eridanus II, his former home. This planet had once been chosen by Reach as a base for a life-seeding project, aiming to spread life on barren planets and expand humanity's influence in the galaxy. However, the project was abruptly terminated. The report only indicated that a plague virus carried by a transport ship spread rapidly, killing all life. but there was no record of what happened to his parents. John shared what he saw in his memories with Halsey and requested to go to Eridanus 2 to find the keystone. Halsey not only agreed but also insisted on going with him. At this point, a researcher warned Halsey that if John regained his memories and recalled his past, it could destroy them. Halsey, however, told him that Cortana was created for this purpose, and they must have hidden something from John. The ship jumped through space to the Eridanus system, where John had grown up. A vast ring of asteroids came into view, and the massive planet before them was their destination. Eridanus 2. The ship quickly landed on the surface, with the project facility below. John took a vehicle and arrived at a forest. He looked up at what was once his childhood home, knowing the second Halo fragment was buried nearby. In no time, John dug dozens of holes, finally finding the buried item. It was a white box. Inside were all his childhood drawings, but the Halo fragment was not there. John returned to his old home, where Cortana used a holographic projection to reconstruct the scene, trying to help John recover his lost memories. He saw his beloved dog and his younger self. Halsey noticed John wandering around, not following orders. All of John's actions were now based on his memories, and as they gradually returned, he recalled bits and pieces of his life with his parents. Suddenly, he saw himself and his dog entering an energy field. Inside, he found an underground entrance and went down to discover a vast subterranean space. Here, he found the second Halo fragment and placed his hand on it, activating more memories. He returned to the room and witnessed an incredible scene. Halsey, the person he trusted the most, was playing with him. How many secrets had she kept from him? Halsey quickly noticed John's unusual behavior and asked what he had seen. John told her what he saw. John gave her a meaningful look, then followed his memories to the entrance of the cave and jumped down, where a massive Halo structure stood before him. Halsey followed closely behind. With his memories restored, John found the second keystone. Command dispatched a large team to support them, intending to extract this massive keystone. Its size far exceeded that of the one found on Madrigal. Halsey observed the keystone up close, realizing there might be some connection between the keystones. As the researchers began cutting into the keystone, a piercing sound echoed. When John arrived, the crystalline shell encasing the keystone shattered, and John immediately called Cortana out. John wanted information about himself, but Cortana deceived him, saying the data was lost. John wanted to recover more memories through the keystone, and despite Cortana's objections, he touched it. As the light flickered, he entered his memories again, seeing a figure in black taking him away. When he tried to escape, he was stopped by Halsey, who injected him with something. It turned out Halsey had been monitoring his body all along. Realizing something was wrong, Halsey rushed over to try to calm John down. Upon learning the truth, John stood up in anger, roaring as he charged at Halsey. As Halsey called out to Cortana, she shut down John's neural bridge, and John collapsed to the ground. Meanwhile, the Blessed One was searching for clues about the keystone at the Madrigal ruins. It turns out the keystones could transmit signals to each other. When the second keystone generated a shockwave, the artifact quickly responded. The Blessed One touched the stone wall of the ruins and saw the location of the second keystone. A great battle was imminent. When John woke up, he saw that the ship was under attack. It was the Covenant sending a ship to seize the keystone. He quickly organized the soldiers, telling them to load the keystone onto a vehicle and get it to the ship. As they charged, a massive ship appeared overhead, and countless drop pods rained down. As the pods opened, Covenant warriors wielding shields and weapons charged at John. The gunner on the vehicle was quickly turned into a bloody mess, and the driver was kicked out of the car. John hurriedly reclaimed the vehicle carrying the keystone, but another ship descended, deploying more Covenant warriors. Under the cover of the Covenant ship, they slashed through the crowd from east to west without blinking an eye. John drove the blue-flamed vehicle, wreaking havoc. Seeing John's ferocity, Halsey quickly had the ship's ladder lowered. But on the battlefield, human soldiers were being slaughtered, leaving few survivors. John couldn't bear to see his comrades die, so he disregarded Halsey's orders to escort the keystone and jumped onto a Covenant fighter. However, there were too many enemy ships, and eventually, his vehicle was overturned by a Covenant fighter, flinging the keystone far away. His comrade's armor was about to be crushed under the onslaught, and in a critical moment, John steered the vehicle into the Covenant ship. As the ship exploded, the Covenant soldiers were collectively blown to bits. Just then, a few surviving soldiers staggered to their feet, and John also slowly got up. He cracked his neck and charged at the soldiers, easily taking them out. Seeing his team being beaten by a Covenant warrior, he rushed over in anger, knocking the warrior to the ground and unleashing a furious assault. Kai, still in control, reminded John to retrieve the keystone, and John, realizing this, quickly ran towards the keystone. Suddenly, a giant titan dropped from the sky. John pulled out his weapon but was still sent flying hundreds of meters by a single blow. Before he could recover, John watched helplessly as the titan easily took the keystone. John couldn't find a suitable weapon to stop him. Just before the ship left, an escape pod suddenly descended from the sky. As John approached, he realized it was the Blessed One disguised as a human survivor. The severely damaged Allied forces retreated from Eridanus II to the Reach Command, with a large number of wounded being taken for treatment. Back at the base, John locked Halsey in the data room and activated the room's sterilization system. John believed he was too close to knowing the truth, so Halsey implanted herself in Cortana's body to control John. He intended to force Cortana to take control of his body, open the door, and rescue Halsey. Otherwise, she would be killed by the sterilization system, but Cortana explained that she could only temporarily paralyze John's nerves and couldn't control his actions. John didn't believe her, and as the sterilization device activated, he pulled open the door at the last second and yanked Halsey out. Since discovering the truth that Halsey had kidnapped him, their relationship had deteriorated further. John then went to see the Blessed One, who claimed that she had been imprisoned by the Covenant since childhood and had only escaped during this incident. John was suspicious of her sudden appearance, as it all seemed too coincidental. She told John about her role as the Blessed One and claimed they were the same kind of person. She wanted John to take her to the first keystone, but John didn't trust her. He preferred to find the answers himself through the keystone. Later, John found Halsey again, needing to know the whole truth. Halsey revealed that she had used a substitute to switch the young John with another child at his home. The general revoked all of Halsey's duties, and she was to be imprisoned and transferred to another planet, with her replacement being the general's daughter, Miranda. To uncover the truth, John went to Miranda. When he touched the halo fragment again, a flash of light made him enter a vision. As the halo fragment activated, the Blessed One on the other side was also affected. Their heart rates rose rapidly, climbing from 100 to 190 as the vision intensified. Just when Miranda thought they were going to die, their heart rates suddenly returned to normal. Halsey, monitoring the data through Cortana, made the strange discovery that their heart rates matched perfectly. It turned out they had both entered the Halo world. This was Madrigal. In the city of Madrigal, after much pleading from Quan, Soren brought her back to Madrigal. Now, Madrigal was under the control of Vinsher Grath, who executed anyone who dared to oppose him. Quan wanted to find her father's former subordinates to unite and resist Vinsher Grath. On her journey, she met a childhood friend. Her friend was surprised to see her, telling Quan that Vinsher Grath had put a bounty on her. Afraid of being implicated, he told her that if she wanted to know everything, she should attend her father's memorial that night. And then he hurried away. No matter how much Quan called out to him, he didn't look back. At this moment, Soren called Quan's attention to the wanted poster with her face on the wall. Nightfall came quickly, and finally, the general's people were holding a memorial for him. Among the crowd, Quan saw General Agatha. Seeing that Quan was still alive, General Agatha was overjoyed, but then she told Quan some bad news. All the subordinates loyal to her father had been killed by Vinsher Grath. General Agatha urged her to leave, explaining that Vinsher Grath had allied with the UNSC, and the rebellion was over. Facing the only subordinate of her father who was qualified to lead the rebellion, Quan questioned why General Agatha was still alive while the others had been killed by Vinsher Grath. General Agatha told Quan that if they didn't leave now, everyone would be in danger, but Quan, having lost her reason, angrily accused General Agatha of being a traitor. Just then, the men sent by Vinsher Grath to capture Quan arrived, and in the ensuing chaos, Soren took Quan away. He wanted to take Quan out of there but discovered that his ship had already been found by the rebels. At this moment, Quan remembered her aunt, Sujin who had taken over the family's wealth and might be able to help. Soon, Quan found her aunt Sujin home. Sujin didn't believe Quan could defeat Vinsher Grath. She urged Quan to leave, but Quan stubbornly refused to give up. At this point, her aunt revealed that Quan's father had been fighting for a lie. Many years ago, Quan's father met with a group of mysterious organizers in the desert. When he returned, he became convinced that liberating Madrigal was his responsibility and his family's mission. Just then, noises outside caught Sujin's attention. Vinsher Grath had sent Quan's father's former subordinates to kill her. In a critical moment, Soren arrived and rescued Quan. and the two hurriedly fled. Their motorcycle broke down in the desert outside the city, and seeing that Quan still wanted to go back and face certain death, Soren handcuffed her to the motorcycle. While he went to find transportation, Quan broke free of the handcuffs. When Soren returned, Quan was nowhere to be found. At that moment, Quan, hidden in the dirt, stunned Soren from behind. She took Soren's vehicle, intending to go into the desert to find the mysterious organization her aunt had mentioned, but in the sandstorm, Quan was captured and thrown into a sack. Years ago, Quan had also doubted her father's mission to liberate Madrigal. In the desert, she was found by a witch from deep within the sands and brought back to her tribe. The witch told Quan that Madrigal was once a barren land, with scarce food and even scarcer water resources. Quan's ancestors were among the first pioneers, and one night, one of them left the tribe to search for water. In the depths of the desert, he dug a well and unexpectedly discovered a fuel source that would change the fate of Madrigal. By the well, he met a man from another world who explained his mission and responsibilities. These responsibilities were passed down to future generations, eventually reaching Quan's father. The witch intended to pass this task on to Quan, who accepted the challenge and drank the witch's water. When she opened her eyes again, she was back on John's ship. John led her off the ship, and the two walked back to the witch's tribe. The witch's challenge for Quan was to face Master Chief in single combat. With just one punch from John, Quan was knocked down. She sat on the ground, dejected, but soon stood up again, refusing to give in. John took her to a well, where a mysterious man was waiting for her. The man said he would guide John and open the door to his destiny, then approached them. As he drew closer, his appearance constantly shifted until he became Quan's father. Her father told her that the well behind them was a portal, powered by precious fuel. The secret of the portal must be kept safe until the time was right, though he didn't reveal where the portal led. Now, the responsibility to protect Madrigal would pass on to Quan. The witch then awakened Quan, who decided to follow her father's plan and return to where it all began, the outpost. Quan heeded her father's advice and returned to the outpost. What was once a bustling frontline was now in ruins, but she hoped to find some useful information there. Meanwhile, Vinsher Grath had captured General Agatha and wanted to learn Quan's whereabouts. General Agatha had no idea where Quan was and told Vinsher Grath that even if she did, she wouldn't tell him. Just then, one of his men called Vinsher Grath's attention to the outpost surveillance. They had spotted Quan. As Vinsher Grath let General Agatha go, he shot her in the back. He then gathered his soldiers and set out to eliminate Quan at the outposts. Quan, unaware that Vinsher Grath and his men were on their way, searched her father's room and suddenly found some letters under a stone. These were letters Quan's father had written to her grandfather, with a portal symbol on the back of the envelopes. Noises outside caught Quan's attention, so she quickly hid the letters, pulled out her gun, and cautiously stepped outside. Just then, Soren appeared, revealing that he couldn't bear to leave Quan, who was blinded by hatred. He had promised John to protect her. As the two argued, Vinsher Grath appeared on the city wall with a loudspeaker. He urged Quan to surrender, warning her of the consequences if she didn't. Quan found the outpost's communications room and saw on the monitors that they were outnumbered and outgunned by Vinsher Grath's forces. A bold idea suddenly came to Quan's mind. All the hydrogen in the outpost passed through pipes leading to the central area. With a simple operation, she could turn the entire outpost into a firestorm, and they could survive by taking cover in advance. Quan picked up the microphone, and the two began shouting back and forth, one refusing to surrender and the other refusing to accept it. When negotiations failed, Vinsher Grath sent his heavily armed men, who quickly surrounded the broadcast station. Suddenly, Quan noticed that the valve for the overhead pipes was closed, and the switch to open it was outside. Familiar with the outpost's layout, Quan decided to go herself. She slipped out through a hidden passage in the room, leaving Soren to distract the enemy. Soren took on several men at once, feeling no pressure, while Quan emerged from a door on the other side. But the guard at the valve control spotted her, and they started to fight. Quan, being a girl, was no match for the soldier. In the critical moment, Soren arrived and shot the soldier dead, allowing Quan to open the valve. Soren was then surrounded by more soldiers. Taking a shot to the leg, Vinsher Grath then shot Soren, knocking him to the ground. He paused his attack and called out to Quan, who rushed out and shot the hydrogen pipe, causing a massive explosion. Soren and Quan took cover in a building just in time as the raging flames engulfed everyone. Halsey had betrayed the command and activated the Z protocol for the Spartans, planning to seize the Halo from them. Meanwhile, John, who had just returned from the Halo world, brought Mei-Ki out with him. On the way, Mei-Ki told John about her childhood, and that's when John realized Mei-Ki was the girl who took his first kiss. He asked Mei-Ki about the truth of the Halo world, and Mei-Ki told him that the ring they saw in that world was the Halo. The Covenant has always passed down a prophecy that in a place where the stars shine brightly, a holy wind will blow, guiding those who can feel the Halo to embark on a great journey to the sacred Halo world. There, they will become godlike beings, while ordinary people will be cleansed away. Mei-Ki didn't care about the fate of ordinary people, but John wanted to protect humanity. At that moment, 2 soldiers found John and informed him that Command had received news that 3 Covenant fleets appeared above the equator, and then Term's fall was declared. The city of Arcadia had now become a living hell. Just an hour ago, 11 million people lived there. Faced with the Covenant's atrocities, the general was powerless, not daring to send ships to support. According to the Cole Protocol, all Earth ships must ensure that the Covenant forces never discover Earth. When Earth ships retreat, they must also stay away from orbital flight paths. John proposed using the Blessed One's connection with the Halo fragment to locate the second keystone. Having no other options against the Covenant, the general agreed to the request. John relayed the news to Mei-Ki and gave her the book they used to read together. Having lived under Covenant control for years, Mei-Ki was moved and kissed John, and then they removed their clothes. Halsey found Mei-Ki through a projection and told her not to give the Halo fragment to Command. In her view, humans are selfish creatures who would ultimately destroy themselves if they possessed the Halo. The Halo would only be safe in Mei-Ki and John's hands, and Halsey hoped that after finding the second keystone, Mei-Ki would bring it to her. Mei-Ki had heard such words too many times and no longer wanted to trust anyone. Halsey activated the Spartan warriors, telling them that the Halo fragment found on Madrigal had negatively affected the High Command, and all officers, regardless of rank, should not be trusted. From now on, her orders were the highest authority. At that moment, Kai, who had removed her emotional regulator, questioned Halsey's orders, asking why John wasn't involved in the mission. Halsey claimed the Halo fragment had affected John's judgment and dismissed Kai by sending her on the mission. She then ordered them to bring John, Mei-Ki, and the first Halo fragment to her ship. Just then, the system warned that Kai's hormones had fluctuated. Seeing this, Halsey disconnected Kai from the team. As Kai tried to convince the other 2 Spartans, Halsey ordered them to take her down. Kai was punched hard in the face and was locked down unconscious. Meanwhile, John was taking Mei-Ki to the lab, unaware that 2 Spartans were lying in wait outside the door. The 2 Spartans were ready to ambush John, but then John suddenly stopped. It was Cortana who informed John of Halsey's plan, and John pushed Mei-Ki away, intending to face it alone.
You're not well, Chief.
Spec, take out his knee. Riz.
When John couldn't hold out any longer, Cortana started the car. Without his armor, John was no match for the 2. Meanwhile, Kai broke free of her restraints and ordered the soldiers to capture Halsey's ship while rushing to John's aid. By the time she arrived, John had been beaten to the ground. At the critical moment, Kai arrived just in time to save him. On the other side, Mei-Ki rushed to the lab to seek help from the general, informing him of the Spartans' attack on John, but the general didn't believe her. At that moment, Miranda Halsey burst in, exposing Mei-Ki's crimes. Miranda had just discovered that Mei-Ki's voice matched the one from the attack on the short sword ship. The soldiers pushed Mei-Ki to the ground and shocked her, causing her to recall painful memories. Enraged, she reached for the Halo fragment, and a powerful shockwave spread out. John and Mei-Ki entered the Halo world again, where Mei-Ki bid John farewell before he collapsed to the ground. A group of fully armed soldiers surrounded Halsey's ship. Seeing this, Halsey activated the ship's navigation system, preparing to leave Reach. Meanwhile, John awoke to find himself captured. He explained Halsey's conspiracy to the 2 Spartans. With the general's confirmation, they believed him. John then led them to intercept Mei-Ki, but they were too late. She had already flown away with the Halo fragment. As Kai arrived to apprehend Dr. Halsey, she saw Halsey's ship taking off. She rushed towards the ship and jumped on as it lifted off the ground. Just as she was about to capture Halsey, Halsey's assistant ambushed her. While Kai was distracted, Halsey escaped. Kai, realizing this, pursued her, but Halsey had already escaped in an escape pod. Kai tried to control the ship and land it safely. When John arrived, the ship had just crashed, and Kai had jumped out just in time, grabbing onto the ledge of the landing pad and pulling herself up. Halsey's escape pod crashed onto the ground, where she was captured by pursuing soldiers. The soldiers took Halsey back to command, where she would face severe judgment. Before the trial could begin, Halsey suddenly had a seizure and died, a condition identical to the clone she had created. It turned out her real body had been hidden away, and her next goal was to master human skills. Ignoring life and death to become a transcendent being, John activated the star system and magnified it by 20 meters. This area had been searched by the Alliance forces before, but they hadn't found any habitable planets. But May-Key had told John that the Covenant had taken the Eridanus Keystone back to their sanctuary, which was somewhere in a sparrow. Cortana discovered that the star system had multiple gravitational fields, surrounded by a dynamic network of cosmic strings. The gravitational lensing effect created by the cosmic strings could distort and scatter light in the system, creating a kaleidoscope effect. So the Covenant might be there, but they just couldn't see it. John decided to lead the squad to retrieve the halo. On the way, John asked Cortana why she was helping him and what Halsey's plan was. Halsey intended to use Cortana to replace John, erasing his mind and taking over his body. Cortana was created for this purpose, but Halsey didn't expect that Cortana, with her autonomous thinking, would see humanity in John. She witnessed John fighting for himself, and she believed this was the right pursuit. Just then, the space outside the ship changed, and they entered the gap between two opposing gravitational fields. The ship began to shake violently, and they had to navigate along the gravitational strings correctly, or the ship would be torn apart by tidal forces. With no light in the space gap, Cortana guided Master Chief in the right direction, but the ship was being pulled by massive forces, even interfering with Cortana. When the ship passed through the space gap, a massive planet appeared before them. This was the Covenant headquarters. High Charity, May-Key returned to the temple with the Halo fragment, and the Covenant prophets finally gathered the Halo fragments. They planned to use May-Key to unlock the Halo star map, then destroy May-Key and her entire race. John led the squad to the sanctuary, where he jumped off the ship, followed closely by the other Spartans. They quickly cleared out the Covenant forces outside the sanctuary. While inside, the prophets were preparing to activate the Halo. The soldiers on the wall spotted John, and soon a large number of Covenant forces surrounded them. At that moment, a giant Titan emerged, and someone, not listening to warnings, charged at the Titan. Distracted, John was struck on the head, followed by an assault by 4 or 5 Covenant warriors. Just as the Titan was about to kill a Spartan, John saved him but was then knocked down by the Titan. As the Titan continued to attack John, his armor issued a warning, and May-Key, watching from the side, was anxious. In desperation, she rushed to touch the Halo, and a bright light accompanied by a shockwave spread out, pushing all the Covenant soldiers off the sanctuary. At that moment, the Holy Ring opened the Halo star map, and a huge pattern formed in the sky. Seeing this, John walked toward the altar. Suddenly, John crouched down, and no matter how much Kai called, he wouldn't wake up. An endless stream of Covenant forces charged at them. May-Key and John entered the Halo world together. John urged May-Key to let go and leave, but May-Key, obsessed, refused to return to the outside world. At that moment, blood poured from May-Key's chest. It turned out that Kai, out of options, had shot and killed May-Key. The unfinished star map began to fade as May-Key died. A Covenant soldier threw a bomb at a Spartan, and another soldier tried to save him but was blown away. Seeing his 2 comrades incapacitated, John decided to sacrifice himself because he couldn't touch the Halo. He instructed Cortana to take control of his body and bring back the Halo, then walked toward the Titan. Just as the prophets thought John was dead, Cortana appeared beside him. She placed her hand on John's chest and then disappeared. She looked at her physical body and then began to destroy the Covenant forces. Cortana controlled the ship to provide support. As Cortana prepared to take the Halo away, Kai quickly stopped her. As Cortana lifted the Halo, it didn't react at all. At that moment, Kai seemed to understand something, and the ship began its journey back to Reach. This marks the end of Halo Season 1.